Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast, Inside Polling. We're here to dissect it all. What a night it was. Here's the most important thing. America spoke last night. Here's what America said. Let's get right to it. America's not woke. America's not liberal. America's not left. America doesn't want to talk about transgender. Mothers do not want their daughters to be in the same bathroom as transgender people. Right or wrong. That's just a fact. America doesn't want wars. America doesn't want to spend $200-300 billion in another country where we have homeless people on the streets in every one of our inner cities. People don't want us to do that. Go walk in New York City. Go walk in Portland. Go walk in Chicago. I dare you. Go ahead. You smell weed all over the place, homeless everywhere, crime everywhere. You can't even park your car in San Francisco. Try right now, which, by the way, San Francisco for what, 30 years straight was voted the #1 city in the world to visit in every travel magazine. Try parking your car, go rent a car, pull it on the street, put a I don't care what it is, a little suitcase in the back. 20 minutes later, your car's broken into. People are sick of it. People are sick of it in California. People are sick of it in New York, and people are sick of it all around the country, throughout the country. And they spoke last night. No more wars. No more billions of dollars to countries where we have our own problems, our own inflation, and we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to somewhere else. People don't want that. Sure, there's always a section that does, because maybe the press, and here's the problem. CNN, you're wrong. MSNBC, you're wrong. You've been proven you're wrong again and again and again. They're brainwashing everybody who watches. They only give one angle. And Fox doesn't do any better, by the way. But the American public's smarter than CNN. All those pundits up there, go look at them all. Look at their faces. They're wrong. Oh, Trump's this, that one. No. Here's what people care about. Inflation, their pocketbook, what it costs. Right? Some people don't see that. Oh, well, that's okay. No, it's not okay. How about when Jake Tapper last night, did everybody see it at whatever it was, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when we were up? John King puts it up. Maybe the biggest moment in the map of all time. Everybody missed it, probably. Here's what it said. He throws up a map. Here's the country of where wages outdid inflation. There's 3,300 counties in the United States. How many counties? 1,000 outdid it, did better? What do you think? 500? 2,000? 3. 3 counties in the United States outdid their wages to inflation. That means all the rest of the counties either were the same or worse. It hit everybody. And where did it hit the most? Pennsylvania, Nevada. And then let's talk about immigration. Immigration. Nobody wants open borders. But here's what the Democrats did. Here's what it used to work in the old days. Here's how the political back and right. I'm a dinosaur in this. Here's how it worked. For 3 years, we're going to do our agenda. And then we're going to trick the American public. We throw out our campaign managers. We put our campaign managers in to run the White House for the final year. They're going to tell us what the American public want to see and where our weaknesses are. So we're going to go do a little bill, and we're going to propose a bill down there. That'll help us. The American public will never know. With the wars, well, maybe we won't send quite as much over there. Maybe we'll stop flying the airplanes to Westchester Airport at 2 in the morning into New York in a suburb airport, which everybody's known about, right? Maybe we'll talk about the crime rate being down, where the FBI has already said they took out the major cities. Oh, no kidding, the crime looks lower when you take out the major cities. It doesn't work. The American public is smarter than any news organization, especially liberal organizations that run 90% of our lives. The American public is tired of it. The American public knows more than they do. These people are not on the ground. They're thinking the old ways. What did I say here? The weaknesses, the strengths. The women came out to vote. Well, guess what about women? Abortion was #1 issue, but guess what? In many places. But that makes both sides make abortion an issue. The people who are against it and for it. It's a top issue. Democracy. People thought that was just a Democrat thought. No, everything I'm saying is what the Republicans were thinking about democracy. It was just as important for democracy, but it's two different things. The Republicans wanted the country to come back to the middle. The Democrats are thinking democracy, that Trump's going to ruin the country. Two different things, but it's still the same word. That's why it was such a big topic, right? It was always thought of as just a Democrat topic. No, Republicans and independents were worried about where the country was going in that democracy. So tired of the wars, tired of shipping immigrants up north, not just on the border, right? Where it always was. Let's ship them around the country. Maybe so they can be in our future elections. People don't want that. Come into the country legally, and it's fine. Made a mistake with the mortgage rates. Let them go too high. But you know what? In the last year, let's lower them, and we'll trick the American public into thinking that that's okay. Wrong. CNN, you're wrong. MSNBC, you're wrong. The government, wrong. Joe Biden, you're wrong. Your campaign manager, wrong. Now listen, poor Harris, she walked into a wildfire. Did she make some mistakes? Of course, they all make mistakes. Her comment on The View, come on. No one wants to hear The View hammering Republicans like they're, racists. And I mean, guys, it doesn't work. Going after Trump from the second he got into office in 2016 does not work. Lawsuits that even the hardest Democrats know, hey, can we take him down this time? Can we get him this time? No. It doesn't matter what a judicial Democrat liberal who runs on prosecuting Trump and wins and gets office and then does it and gets a lawsuit and gets him guilty. Who cares? Now, there's people who care because they want to take him down. But the American public is smarter than that judge, smarter than the news organizations, smarter than what they see, because both sides are out now. And how about maybe one of the biggest underlying issues? I've talked about it on the show over and over and over. Democrats have been saying in Georgia 2 years ago, how many times do we have to hear it? The early voting's not enough. It's only 5 days. It's only 10 days. They extended out a month. That's still not good enough. We got to let everybody vote. Well, guess what? You got it. And look what happened. You gave the opportunity for the Republicans to vote. Republicans don't come out like Democrats. And look what happened. The Republicans voted. Backfired. The black voter. We talked about on this show. I'm going to take him for granted. Why do I even need to talk about it? Well, let's bring in Obama to talk to the black guys, right? That's our weak spot. And tell him and scold them that they should be voting for a black woman because you're black. Huh? You're talking about racism. You're talking about downgrading somebody. The black male of today does not want to be scolded. I hate to break the news to you. A 25-year-old black male who works and is educated does not want to be scolded by President Obama, who sits in Martha's Vineyard in his $10 million mansion. Sorry, Mr. President, it's not working. The American public is smarter than you. The American public is smarter than you. The American public spoke last night. Let's get to some of the facts. And by the way, what the hell is the Democrat Party running on right now if it's not Trump? Right? If I ran as a Republican, what are they saying? Yeah, they'll drill me left and right, right? I mean, look what they did to DeSantis. DeSantis and the vice president elect Vance got demolished. The second they think someone's rising to the top, they send bombs. I mean, remember Florida's so bad. The Florida people are turning on DeSantis. The Florida people are turning on Trump. People are thinking differently in Florida. Hey, guys, Florida was a 2.5-point win for Trump 4 years ago. He just pulled 13%. Is it 14, 13, or 14? 13% in Florida. Guys, an 11% change in 4 years is unheard of. Maybe over a 30-year span that can happen. We're talking 4 years. And what happens with, and by the way, how embarrassing is the election process that Detroit, Democrat run, Milwaukee, Democrat run, Phoenix, Democrat run. What else did we have last night? Philadelphia, Democrat run cities cannot put their ballots in order. Florida, who's got a zillion millions and millions of votes, basically in an hour and a half is done. Run by Republicans, run by a governor who knows what he's doing, run by a secretary of state who knows what he's doing, and a ballot readers that somehow can read ballots. And these people in Philadelphia and in Milwaukee and in Detroit and in Phoenix can't do their job. And look at Nevada. What are we at? 60% in Nevada still can't get the number. I mean, come on. Come on. What does that say? What does that say? When did the American public, this is where the American public says, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's disgraceful. It shouldn't be allowed. Send the people in Florida up to these cities and watch how fast it's done. Because this is what creates the anxiousness with Republicans. All of a sudden, just these 4 cities that Democrats need so badly in the whole country and in battlegrounds are the only ones that are having problems. The 4 cities that are needed in the states, in the battlegrounds, the 7 battlegrounds, in almost every single one of those states had an issue in Democrat city runs where they need Democrat ballots. You don't think that makes Republicans think, is there some game going on? And we know games have been played in Philadelphia for years. They would admit it. Oh, not really. Yes, we would admit it. Guys, this is what creates the anxious. Get the vote out and everybody shuts up. It's the way it should be. Send the Florida people up there to teach them how to count paper in little circles. It's pretty easy, guys. Let's go over, by the way, the polling companies. Let's talk about Quinnipiac. Let's talk about ABC. Let's talk about NBC. Let's talk about Marist. Let's talk about YouGov. Right? All wrong. All wrong. All left. USA Today, New York Times, all left organizations. You hope their polling's down the middle because they want to be right. All left and all wrong. Who was right? The right-leaning polls. Atlas does it again. Now we know Atlas is who to watch in the next election. Atlas was the number 1 in 20, and they're going to be the number 1 in 24. They nailed it basically in every state within a point or two. They were the only ones who were close. Let's go through some of the questions. By the way, did anybody see the map? Again, John King, I watched CNN for my election night because I don't think, looking at the other channels, I don't think anybody does a good job. Kornacki does a good job. I'll give him that credit. But you can't watch that channel, right? It's tough. MSNBC you can't watch. NBC you can watch. But CNN I put on just for John King because I think no one does it better than John King. Love it. And I'm not a CNN fan. You guys know that. But John King, best in the business, goes to the thing. Throws up a chart. Where did Harris outperform Biden? And you heard me talk about this on the show. Watch for who underperformed and overperformed. You hear it 4 times. If you hear Trump overperforms, he's going to win. Underperforms, he's going to lose. Do you know how many places in the country, we talk about those counties again, 3,300 and something, how many counties there were? He shows the map up. Pull it up on X, pull it up on YouTube. You guys will be shell-shocked. Tapper says, oh, he asked a great question. Oh, well, let's not talk about Trump's overperforming. Can you pull up Harris's underperforming or where she overperformed around the country? He hits the map. Half of the map is covered because he's got his bar that slides to the side. And he goes, oh, give that a second. It'll slide to the side. Tapper goes, none? Not one. Not one county she overperformed by 3% or more. Not one. Now, Biden was a stronger candidate. I'm not saying his health, because here, I didn't think he'd even make it to the end of his term. And who knows, right? We got another 30, 40 days or whatever it is to the end, 60 days. But Biden was the type of guy who, hey, I thought he was fine. He was great. Uncle Joe, right? Uncle Joe's fine. Uncle Joe is a down and dirty guy. He's got his right. He's a blue collar worker type guy. Uh, he's does well out west. He does well in the Midwest. He would have been a much better candidate. I'm not saying in his state because I don't agree with that either. I think he should have stepped aside. I think it was the smartest thing he stepped aside. And by the way, if Trump didn't accept that debate in June, he would have been our candidate running on the Democrat side. And Trump would have beaten him. Definitely would have beaten him. But you can see where it's important to have that candidate who can talk to middle class America. Let's go to some of the exit polls. Okay. 45% of the country and 30% thought it was, so what's that? 75 thought it was the same or worse than 4 years ago. And 45% said our economy was worse than 4 years ago. 75% said inflation was moderate or severe hardship on their families. Let's go to some of the votes. Latinos in 2020 for Harris, well, for Biden was 65%. She pulled 53% this time. That's a loss of 12% in the Latino vote. Let's touch on that. Democrats, take it, right? We don't need to campaign for blacks voters. There'll always be us. Wrong. And wrong on CNN and wrong on MSNBC for saying to you, the watcher and the listener, and you, of course, you're maybe going to believe it. Oh, they're in our pocket. Why would they ever go to Trump? Are you listening? Are you on the ground listening? He's more relatable than the Democratic Party. Let's go Latino voters. Well, we don't have to worry about them. Don't worry about them. Have you seen the slide? Have you seen the slide? From 15% to 20% to 25% to 30% to 40%. And now we're looking at what? Trump got 45% of the Hispanic voter. By the way, Hispanic voters is not like this this urban resident. These are workers. Workers. Oh, the joke at Madison Square Garden is going to be so devastating. It's a comic. How many times on MSNBC and CNN are you going to talk about the same thing? Here's what it is. It's brainwashing. I'm going to convince you that that was an issue that matters. I'm going to put on a Republican that doesn't like Trump and is going to vote Democrat, and I'm going to put 4 of them on, and I'm going to convince you that's the way the world thinks. Wrong. It's a joke. Did anybody ever go to a comedian act? Has anybody? Listen, go watch Bill Burr. I saw him last year ripping women, ripping men, ripping gays, ripping. It's what do you want comedians to talk about, guys? How soft have we gotten? How soft have we gotten that you can't handle a joke? What do you want to talk about? How do you want to be a joke? Right? I mean, God help us if we pull up Don Rickles, guys, a few YouTube videos and listen to that. We've come a long way with our jokes. Obviously, they didn't listen. The Puerto Rican vote did not listen to CNN or MSNBC, right, guys, and get convinced. Wrong again. How many times can we say wrong? The young voters. Oh, the young students, they're always on our side. Roe versus Wade. This is going to be devastating. Wrong. Young voters were like 55% men, young men, 55% for Trump. 55% men for Trump. The women the women are always going to be a little bit of a break, but that's okay. But they lost 5 percentage points on the young voter. So no, turning more to the middle. Hispanics turning more to the middle. Black voters finally turning a little bit more towards the middle. Common sense. The Republican Party didn't make this a mantra enough. It should have been their title. Throw Make America Great away and go to common sense. Common sense on Trump's being attacked on the legal side, common sense on the border, common sense with the mortgage rates, common sense with any top inflation, any topic you want to, common sense with transgender. People don't have a problem with people being gay. How far do you want to take it? Tampons in the boys' bathrooms, transgenders allowed to compete with men. Then they come out of the men's and they go allowed to go to the women's bathroom, kids' bathrooms. Guys, mothers don't want that. Let's touch up on the women now. It's time. Women, oh my gosh, CNN, MSNBC. Let's put up the ladies there. I used to be a Republican, but now I'm gonna vote for Democrat because of the overturned old 2-year-old Supreme Court decision, not Trump decision, Supreme Court decision. And then we're going to make this issue that's the only thing women care about. No, here's what women care about: their kids, their daughters, their sons, the food on the table, what they're reading, who's teaching them, their sensitivity, the amount of effort they put in their sports, that they shouldn't have to compete with boys just because the boy wants to. No. CNN, MSNBC, you're wrong. 90% of the reporters, you're all wrong. Professors, you're wrong. These are all hugely Democrat people. Colleges being taught, 95% of them are Democrat. Wrong. But here's the thing, the public is smarter than you too. The professors, they're smarter than you. They're smarter than you. You missed the boat. You're not street smart enough. Then the American public is street smart. That's the issue. You want to be CNN smart? No. You think Jake Tapper is smarter than you on what's happening in the streets? This guy's getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, living in a nice mansion in Westchester. And what are you doing? What does he have to do? What does any of those people on the panel have to do? What's going on in the American public? Missed the boat. Women. Okay, this is what they ran on. We're going to hate Trump. And let's see. Let's pull up the 2-year-old abortion issue. And January 6th, let's pull that up too, which is now what? 4 years old. That's our topic. Hate Trump, abortion, women's rights, which, by the way, is now to the states. Let the states vote on it and let's solve this issue. If your state doesn't want abortion, that's going to ruin your 8-year-old girl, then move to another state. Move to another state. These are your choices. Don't live in Florida. There's plenty of other states, and a state turned it around last night and voted against it. Put it on the ballot. Put it on the ballot. Let the people speak. Men under 30, 56 Trump. Black men, 20%. Independent voters, who I said, how many times did I tell you? Independents were going to decide this election, and they are. They are. They're not staunch here or there. They want an actual person that thinks like them, cares about them. Independent voters, 54% went for Trump. Let's go across the whole country. New York. Biden won it by 23 points. Trump lost it by 11. That's a gain of what's that? 12 points? Guys, 12-point change in an election is ginormous. Okay, and I start with the Northeast, right? The most liberal. Let's go to New Jersey. Biden won it by 16. You know how much Harris won by? 5. A loss of 11 points. You think, oh, it's just the black voter, it's just the Hispanic voter. No, it's the family voter. It's the family voter. Oh, uneducated, only uneducated people. What are you talking about? 40 some odd percent of educated women and educated men with degrees voted for Trump. 4 out of 10 in a room. Let's throw people in a room. Let's put 20 people in a room. 8 people voted for Trump in some graduating class. Come on, guys. Get over it. Get over it. You're wrong. It's not educated. Those numbers fine for Trump. It's fine for Republicans. It used to be the other way around. That's the vote that they've lost. Let's go to Iowa. Let's go to the middle of the country. Trump won by 9 4 years ago, won by 14. And let's talk about Seltzer, the famous poll, the most respected poll, the most incredible poll. Has Harris up by what, 3 or 4 points? Scared the pollsters out of their minds. Guys, Trump won by 14 points. What's Seltzer doing now? Now, here we go again. It's the last weekend. The Democrats say the numbers are rolling because the pollsters all come out. Now, what does that say to you? Is the machine, the Democrat machine, running? So I always blame the Republican. I always say, "Oh, that's a right-leaning poll. That's a right-leaning poll. That's a right-leaning poll. Here's Rasmussen. Here's Insider Advantage. Here's Atlas." Well, was it just coincidence that CBS, NBC, Marist, YouGov, Quinnipiac, and New York Times and XYZ all started kicking to Harris at the last minute and the momentum shift was on? I got tricked. I got totally fooled. I was totally wrong. I got to point the finger. I was wrong. But Seltzer in Iowa all of a sudden drops a bomb too, saying Iowa's in play. And then there's going to be a Kansas play, it looks like. Wrong. Seltzer, you're wrong. You're wrong. CNN, you're wrong. MSNBC, you're wrong. 90% of the media, you're all wrong. Let's go to Nebraska. Trump gained 2 points in Nebraska. Okay, so 1 in the Northeast. We already know he did better in Carolina and Georgia. We now know he did better in the Midwest. Let's go out west to the most liberal of them all, California and Oregon. Oregon, he lost by 16 points. This time he lost by 12. 4-point gain in Oregon. People in Oregon are tired. You're not going to win Oregon as a Republican. You're never going to do that. But he only lost by 12 points. He gained by 4 points. People are tired of it. People are tired of what they saw, what they read, everything I just went through. They're street smart. You don't have to be brain smart. You don't have to go to Harvard to figure these things out. You don't have to be John King and Tapper and all the rest of the guys up there. You don't have to be. I'm not even going to talk about MSNBC because I'm more disgusted with CNN because that wasn't actually an organization that we all watched that was down the middle. Whatever happened to them, I have no idea. Let's go to California. Trump lost California by 30 points last time. How much do you think he lost it by? 25? 22? 20? 17 points. I mean, it's a 12-point gain in California. Do you know why? The Democrats are tired of it. The independents are tired of it. And the Republicans are tired of it. And that's what you heard last night. And that's the message. That's the message. Women are tired of going woke and left and liberal in the attacks. The young are tired of going left and liberal in the attacks, in the manipulation in the news. The middle-aged person who voted for Trump, the independents who voted for Trump, the older voters who voted for Trump, the United States that voted for Trump are tired of being woke, left. I can't say this word. I'm getting my Christmas movie pulled because it has some kind of scene in it or some kind of song that may find a group upset. You know, what are we going to do? Pull Rudolph next, guys? Is that where we're going to go? I can't say this word, that word, this word, that word. I'm pulling all words from my dictionary. No, you're wrong. There's common sense. The American public spoke last night with using common sense. If you turn on CNN today, it's a disgrace. Go learn another side. Go find the vision of the people. Go listen to what's happening on the streets. Go talk to mothers. Don't watch CNN or MSNBC. Go talk to your friends. Listen this time. Don't be brainwashed that that's the only thing. Will Trump do good or bad or whatever? I have no idea. No idea. But the most important thing tonight is not what Trump did. America spoke. No more. Common sense only. Can we ride to the middle? And will Trump blow it and go too far right? Probably, because that's the history. When people are in power, they go too far and then we kick back again. And that's what will probably happen. I have no idea. But the greatest thing happened. We voted, we spoke, and there's the product of it all. Guys, I love you. I'll be back with more because it's important. We discussed the Senate, which was gone Republican, which we guessed, the Marino. I predicted it here first. The House, we got to watch. And then we may carry on this discussion another time. Maybe we'll be seeing more of you. Who knows? Guys, I love you so much. Thanks so much for the process. Thanks so much for all the support. Thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. And listen, everybody, take care of themselves. Take care.